Um, so today I took some trades. Let's see what I have for you all. I was bearish just because the daily's bearish. I was expecting a retrace yesterday, so I was expecting a retrace today, but my bias overall is still bearish, even though I was expecting a retrace. So we can go ahead and get rid of this level. It's just on a previous day high. So this trade down here. Um, was, sorry, my brightness was not where it should have been. It was just like a really basic trade. I just entered in like really early, like just right after 9:45. Um, I don't know, I don't know if how much ICT you all have seen, but a long time ago in his like I think it was his 2022 mentorship series. He says that like every once in a while he likes to just throw a contract into the market just to kind of see what it does and get a feel for the market, kind of like takes the edge off and allows him to, better understand the market. And I feel like that's what this was for me today. I entered with two, and then I lost like 80 bucks, but this like consolidation in here after we took out some buy side liquidity, which is what this was, felt really good. Just like entering here, closing out. I wasn't like upset about the loss or anything. I was kind of just waiting for my entry, and my entry occurred right up here. Um, the only reason I entered right here on the retracement into this order block was because I saw an SMT on MES on micro ES, and I don't typically ever trade with SMTs, but I saw this really drastic move and I was like, you know what, this could be the reaction to the S&P that just created. I might as well just throw in a contract. And so I put in a contract and I end up this gets swept out and I'm like, that's fine. It's probably just gonna react off previous day high. And that's exactly what it does. I mean, by like a couple of ticks too. Like this is, I don't know, what that's like, yeah, it's like one handle. And then after that, we start seeing this move down. We get a market structure shift, and this big move here kind of gives us a little bit more of like a break to the downside. It's a little bit more trustworthy, a little bit stronger footholds. And then I get an entry right there on the return to this order block. I enter, go into a little bit of drawdown, and then we pretty much just expand to the downside into this old first presented fair value gap until we react off of that. I had my stops right above this high. I was just putting them above swing highs. And I got stopped out, and I was like, all right, that's fine. If I'm gonna get stopped out, it's not like a huge deal. Most likely, what's gonna happen is this level up here is gonna turn out to be turtle soup. And I wrote this down, like I had this level like extended probably out to here. Then I just labeled it as turtle soup somewhere in here. And I was like, this is probably going to be a turtle soup. And so it does end up coming up. I'm like, maybe it won't be a turtle soup. And then it goes down. I'm like, maybe it won't. And then it comes back up. I'm like, maybe it will. Then it starts going back down. I'm like, maybe it won't. And then it starts going back up. And I'm like, all right, maybe it will. And then it is. Turns into a turtle soup. But one thing that I didn't recognize was that for this turtle soup, there was an entry right here. It wasn't just like a cascading waterfall down. Like there was a trade yesterday, I think. It was either yesterday or like a couple days ago. No, it was this. Like once we swept this liquidity up here, we had like it was nothing but black bars all the way down, or red candles, whatever you want to call them. These were all bearish candles. They all just went straight down. There was not a single bit of consolidation or anything or retracements at all. Here, however, was very different. We have a turtle soup on a day that could very likely be a retracement. And right here, we have this big move to the downside, great sign, move up, market structure shift down, move up into an order block. And I use this as a market structure shift because these are two equal lows. So I count that. I don't like counting the swing lows formed after we sweep liquidity, but it's literally just a preference thing. It's not like ICT says that or anything. That's just how I look at the market. But these are equal lows. If you look at the low at the top of my screen, they're the exact same level. And so I said as soon as it closes below these equal lows, that'll be good. And so we got that. It's market structure shift, move up to this order block. However, and this was all during New York AM session, but what I didn't see is I was like watching the market as it's going down. I'm like, it's gonna take out my first take profit that I was interested in before it retraces, and it does. This was the first take profit I was interested in with this trade that I said earlier before I got stopped out. I had a take profit here, here, and then I only had three contracts. So I put the last one down here because I think this is a really strong level. These are, if they're not equal, they're very, very close. I mean, extraordinarily close. No, they look to be, yep, no, they're exactly equal. So that's a very strong, it's a very strong pull on liquidity in my opinion. And I would like to see us come and take this out maybe tomorrow, maybe later this week. I don't know when, but I feel that that will be a very strong um draw on liquidity. So once I realized that I missed the entry right in here on this order block and it went down and it starts moving back up, I was like, you know what, that's kind of it for me. We took out my first take profit. This was one of like the first things I wanted to focus on. So if that already got taken out, then I don't want to take any more shorts just because I think that might be dangerous. I was looking at a short somewhere up in here as it starts retracing back to my original entry, and it never quite got back to my original entry by a few ticks. And same with this inverse fair value gap that I was interested in. It only did that later, but it was obviously moving up by then, and it wasn't in session. So, um, oh, and then there was a trade up here that I took. I'm so surprised I took this, honestly. Um, yeah, no, but I was kind of just I wasn't busy today, so I was kind of just watching movies and just monitoring this, and we end up kind of exploding to the upside here. And these levels that I have drawn in here, this hourly order block I have over here, and um and this order block, these bearish for value gaps, this hourly bearish order block, I had these in yesterday. And if you guys remember, I was saying that I wanted to see price move up before it moved down. And in fact, we did the opposite. We moved down before we move up for a retracement. So we moved down yesterday. Now we have this big move up into these exact levels that I was interested in. And I anticipate these to get hit and maybe seeing liquidity manipulated from there to then capitulate us to the downside. Um, um, so. Yes, that's kind of where I saw price going. And it was really awesome to see that. Like I noticed this was turtle soup. I just missed the entry, which was early because the last couple entries I've looked at have always been like a few minutes, like a solid little while after the original manipulation. So I was looking for it like in here rather than as soon as that manipulation happened. That's just something I got to work on to like pay attention to. And then this in here, it was really good to see that it immediately went through these levels that I was interested about, especially this one. I mean, on a volume profile, this would be like there's just nothing there. And then this was really good to see us react off of this order block, this just area, this level that I was interested in. We manipulated through here for a while until recently when we started moving up. But I took this trade in here because we hit liquidity up here, and then we respected an order block, did not respect this order block, went all the way up to this original order block, which is I must have entered on this order block in here, which then I went to draw down before we expanded to the downside, and then on our way up, I was like, okay, well that's not going to be ideal. Like I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it come up to where I entered because then we're just disrespecting all these highs we made in here. So I saw it coming up, and right as I was about to get like stopped out at break even, I was like, I might as well just stop it out here, just because of spread. So that's what I ended up doing. But yeah, that was kind of it for today. And then I didn't really look to trade New York PM session just because I feel like the bulk of our volatility happened earlier in the day, and I was much more interested in what was happening back here rather than what was all of this, which doesn't even look that great. It looks pretty meh. I guess the most ideal trade for the New York PM session would have been these relative equal lows right here. If you look, there's a low here and there's a low here, there's another low here. So these, I know this is all hindsight, but just my view. That sell side liquidity right there, this expansion creates a market structure shift, leaving a bearish fair value gap. Um, actually, I mean, I can't see these. There we go. So it does leave a bearish fair value gap right here. I probably would have wanted to see price return significantly farther down, like into this original consolidation we were in, but we wouldn't have gotten that. So it kind of is what it is for the afternoon. I wasn't super interested in that. If you wanted to be bullish today, then good for you. You were totally right on about that. But I was definitely looking for these bearish trades in the morning. My trades ended up looking like this. I lost that. This was just from those two contracts I entered in early in the morning, just kind of seeing how things felt in the market. I lost like 80 bucks there, and then I made 100 on this trade in here, and then I made 30 on the trade later in the day over here. So that was kind of it for me today. Nothing terribly exciting. Um I continue to get frustrated about the fact that I am missing these trades. Like this turtle soup right here, this reminds me a lot. Here, we can go on the 1 minute, it'll be easier to see. So this turtle soup that happened right here during New York AM session reminds me a lot of it's either Thursday or Friday. No, it must have been Thursday of last week. Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was. This right here. This trade right here, which turned out to be a turtle soup. Very similar to today, but I didn't recognize that as a turtle soup, and I didn't enter on any of this. And there was like three valid entries on an order block in here. The order block was like halfway through this on the 15 second, and there was like a bunch of valid entries with these little peaks right here that we could have taken down for like the rest of the day. And so like today wasn't that clean in terms of like its expansion to the downside, but it definitely was clean in the sense that I got stopped out like around break even here. There was like a little bit of profit, but not much. And then, and then had I recognized that this was turtle soup and um, and that I could enter again fairly quickly, I could have caught, what is that? I would have had take profit there. So I would have caught 158 handles or 600 ticks in my trade, which even on a single contract isn't horrible. So yeah, no, it's definitely disappointing to see like my last like 3 or 4 trading days kind of end up like this, where like I'm not actually wrong as far as like my bias goes, but um my execution is definitely off. So I definitely need to work on that. Just work on being like very patient and observant rather than trying to like force anything. But no, I think today was good. I hope you all had a good day. Um, I'm gonna be busy the rest of the day, so that's why I'm not posting this later like I usually do. I'm gonna be fairly busy for the rest of the week, so I'll still be trading. At the very least, I'll send out updates on X. But um, if I miss a video or two, it's because I'm hanging out with family and whatnot. So I hope you all had a good day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Stay safe and good trading.